No, I don't care who you are. You've been through some shit.
To persevere or give up? That is the question. I'm your host, Eric Brown, and with me, Mr. Mike Jones.
Hey, Mr. Brown, how are you, man?
Oh, man, living the dream.
Hey, man, can you do that again? I really like that. Do that again.
Perseverance or just give up? That is the question.
Yeah, that is the question. And I have another question for you, too. When is it over? I want you to hold on to that one for a little bit. I just want you to ask yourself, when is it over? Now, most of y'all that know me know that I grew up down south. I grew up in church, and they taught me as a little boy that there were good words and there were bad words. What I have learned as an adult is words are not bad. People use words in bad ways. In the work that we do at Discover Leadership Training, I have found that in personal growth and personal development, I have found in cognitive science that one of the most powerful words is the word shit. Let me tell you why. Stick with me now. Every last one of you have experienced some good shit in your life, and every last one of you have experienced some bad shit. In fact, some of y'all are going through some bad shit right now, but we're going to get back to that in a moment. Unfortunately, we as human beings do a great job of holding on to the bad shit, and we forget about all of the good shit that happened. So on this pod blast today, we want to talk about that shit that you're going through, and even some of that shit that you've been through. What I want you to be aware of in this present moment is that every last one of us has been through some shit. The question that I have for you today is, are you reacting to the shit, or are you responding to the shit? If you are reacting to the shit, it means that you're looking in your rearview mirror. It means that you're utilizing historical data to deal with the stuff that is going on in your life. I want you to be aware right now that what has happened to you was also happening for you. How can you transform that negativity into something positive? How can you take what's happened to you and help it benefit you moving forward? I want you to be aware that it is absolutely possible for you to be able to transform bad shit into good shit.
So, Mike, I have definitely been through some shit in my life. So what is the determining factor whether you persevere through that to the other side or you give up?
Well, you know, Eric, we talk about this a lot on this pod blast. You can do one of two things that are going to make an absolute difference in the reality that you are experiencing. You can either make life happen because of you, or you can allow life to happen to you. If you are reacting to the shit that is going on in your life, you are allowing life to happen to you. You are sitting back passively just bobbing and weaving and hoping to get through things and hope that it isn't as bad as it could be, when you can take charge by persevering, by focusing on a positive outcome, by truly making the choice to be engaged with the shit that is going on in your life and absolutely take it on. There may be a time right now that in the midst of what you're going through, that because of how you're looking at it, it is absolutely creating a negative experience for you. If you need to change your approach, to change your results, if you need to change your perspective and look at it from a different perspective, understanding that everything that is happening to you is happening for you. Now, I know that is going to be hard for some of y'all to embrace. I know that this is a tough subject for some of y'all because you're going through some pretty tough stuff. However, what I really want you to be aware of in this moment is that as soon as you can transform the perspective of what you're going through from something negative to a positive possibility, then some things are going to change for you.
So in a prior pod blast, you talked about words really making a difference. So what do you mean? What is the difference between reacting or responding when you're going through a tough thing?
Yeah, and we just talked about that a little bit. So let me make sure that we have a clear understanding. If I am responding to what is going on in my life, it means that I am absolutely engaged in taking control of this situation, and I am accepting personal responsibility to move it forward. If I am reacting, I'm on my heels, I'm deflecting, I'm not accepting personal responsibility. I am absolutely getting through it. I'm surviving the situation. But when you are truly responding, you are thriving. You are thriving in this chaos by taking control, by absolutely moving forward and leaning into whatever that circumstance is.
So, Mike, what do I do when the shit hits the fan?
And you know, Eric, you talked about it in the opening. You've got to be willing to persevere when the shit hits the fan. I'm going to tell you something. You don't even know the truth until the shit hits the fan. You don't even know that you're self-confident. You don't know that you have courage. You don't even know the truth until some shit hits the fan. Now, quite often, it is easy for me to proclaim that I'm a self-confident person when the sun is shining, when there's light winds blowing. But when that storm rolls in, when those rain clouds come in, when those thunderstorms start clapping that thunder and it gets really, really turbulent, that's when you know the truth. Because it is in the midst of those moments that the real you is going to show up. You don't even know who you are without some storms coming, without some shit hitting the fan. So you might as well start celebrating when the shit hits the fan, because it gives you an opportunity to authenticate who you say you are.
And Mike, I know a real world example for you and for us at Discover Leadership Training is when COVID hit and we were not having classes. And what did you do to thrive in that chaos rather than react to what was going on?
Oh, for sure. And you know, one of the things that we said to each other, as we said to other of our clients, in this moment that you have no control over the situation. So let me be clear about this. There is going to be some shit that hits the fan that you have no control over, like COVID. But then I also want to throw this point in before I go any further. There's some self-inflicted shit that you're dealing with because of some poor choices that you've made. Let's come back to that in a moment. But one of the things that I said to people during COVID is two things can come out of this. You can be bitter or you can get better. You can be bitter or you can get better. How do we get better here at Discover Leadership Training? We got together often. We worked on our craft. We challenged each other to best our best in areas to absolutely be able to present even more powerful training whenever the opportunity presented itself. And that was exactly what we were able to accomplish. When COVID was over for us, in the context of being able to resume our classes, we got better. We didn't sit back and get bitter by complaining about the things that we have no control over. We took control of the things that we did.
Okay, so you already mentioned the self-inflicted wounds. So what could you suggest for our viewers about how to get out of their own way?
Yeah, for sure. You know, one thing I got to say to you, and you hear us talk about this all the time. I know that the choices that I am making today are going to create the reality that I am going to experience tomorrow. So be aware of what choices that you are making and the outcome of those choices, the reality of those choices, because I absolutely guarantee you that every choice that you make matters, either positively or negatively. And you should be able to determine if that choice is going to be positive or negative based upon your outcome. Where are you going? And will that choice get you there? So again, I say to you, when the shit hits the fan, you will get an opportunity to authenticate who you are and absolutely create an opportunity to be in control by responding to the shit.
So you heard it here first, y'all. It is not over until you say that it's over.
So I'm going to say this to you. When the shit hits the fan, I hope that you are out there on that edge, baby. Because if you're not on the edge, you are taking up far too much room.
Here we go now.